The Raven. In the exam room, most feeling quite rotten, their minds had gone blank, facts and figures forgotten. Was it Vasco da Gama who'd sailed to India? Frankly, most struggled to recall events pre-social media. A sudden commotion, and heads turned to the light. A gigantic raven involved in a fight was now perched at the window. In its claws something red. A much smaller bird looked dismembered and dead. He feasted a moment on the dangling scraps, whilst exam-weary pupils discarded their maps in favour of screeching and pointing aghast at the great feathered creature, until finally, at last, old Boothroyd arose, clutching rollerball pen. He tapped twice on the window, and then twice again, but the creature ignored him and turned right around, and by ruffling his feathers showed he was standing his ground. The screeching grew louder as children, distracted, turned from their papers and engaged in protracted discussions of what was the best thing to do, though few proposed options went beyond a loud shoo. The carrion, meanwhile, had finished his snack, plucked at some loose feathers misaligned on his back. Old Boothroyd felt awkward. This was out of his sphere. He hoped McKinley, the caretaker, might with broom soon appear. But he was engaged in the basement, where the boiler had bust. A lack of investment meant its innards were rust, like so much infrastructure at that particular school, with its gymnasium cracks and sad, drained swimming pool. Mr. Boothroyd clicked his rollerball, gave his signature frown, thus reinstating exam room conditions. The class settled down. Back to questions about Magellan, Tasman, Bering, Cabot, Marco Polo, Vespucci, Hudson, Diaz, the lot. But none of the pupils had forgotten the beast, its black iridescence perched consuming its feast. With such a distraction looming peripherally, you could understand why many felt themselves all at sea. Once great explorers, for generations renowned because of stories compelling, seemed today run aground. Old Boothroyd considered the matter, clicked his rollerball pen, rolled it once through his fingers and then back again. The one completing the paper and who scores a good mark, he meant 80%, they'd not been left in the dark, will have the honour of naming the school's new feathered friend. Combine the old with the new, he thought. Could be a good blend. A hushed excitement descended, just the scratching of pens and the rustling of papers, but can you guess how this ends? As the countdown completed, the great bird lifted off, and he circled the playground, looking back as if to scoff at the imprisoned humans contained there within, behind glass quite protected but prone to make din. He was the adventurer, not a Raleigh or Drake, with a squawk name all his own, thanks, which no human could make.